Welcome to our podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are here to celebrate the life and achievements of Vincent van Gogh, one of the most influential artists in history. Vincent van Gogh was a Dutch Post-Impressionist painter who is considered one of the most influential figures in the history of Western art. Despite living a relatively short life, he left behind an extensive body of work, including more than 2,000 paintings and drawings. Van Gogh's art is characterized by bold colors, broad brushstrokes, and a unique style that captures the essence of his subjects. However, his life was just as colorful and complex as his art. He struggled with mental illness, poverty, and social isolation throughout his life, and his tragic death at the age of 37 has made him an iconic figure in the art world. In this podcast, we will explore Vincent van Gogh's life, from his early years as a struggling artist to his eventual rise to fame, and examine the personal and artistic challenges he faced along the way. We will also delve into the cultural and historical context of his work, exploring how his art reflects the society and culture of the late 19th century. So sit back, relax, and join us on a journey through the life and art of one of the most influential artists of all time. Vincent van Gogh's childhood and early life. Vincent van Gogh was born on March 30, 1853, in the small village of Groot-Zundert in the southern Netherlands. He was the oldest of 6 children born to Theodorus van Gogh, a pastor in the Dutch Reformed Church, and Anna Cornelia Carbentus. Vincent had 3 brothers and 2 sisters, and the family moved frequently during his childhood due to his father's various pastoral assignments. Despite his father's occupation, Vincent did not initially show any interest in pursuing a religious career. Instead, he displayed a talent for drawing and painting from an early age, often sketching the landscapes and people around him. He also showed an interest in literature and music, particularly the works of Shakespeare and Beethoven. Vincent's relationship with his family was often strained during his childhood. He was particularly close to his mother, who encouraged his artistic pursuits, but he had a difficult relationship with his father, who was often critical of his unconventional interests and behavior. Vincent was also distant from his siblings, and he later wrote that he often felt lonely and misunderstood as a child. In 1864, at the age of 11, Vincent was sent to a boarding school in Zevenbergen, where he received a classical education in subjects such as Latin, Greek, and mathematics. However, he struggled in school and was eventually removed due to poor grades. He then attended a school in Tilburg for a brief period before leaving education altogether in 1868. After leaving school, Vincent briefly worked as a clerk at an art dealership in The Hague, but he was unhappy with the job and eventually left to pursue his artistic career full-time. Over the next few years, he studied art in various cities throughout Europe, including London and Paris, and developed his unique style of painting. Despite the challenges he faced in his early life, Vincent's artistic talent and determination would eventually lead him to become one of the most celebrated artists of all time. In the next episode, we'll explore his later years, including his struggles with mental illness, his relationships with other artists, and his enduring legacy in the art world. Important events in the life of Vincent van Gogh. Vincent van Gogh's life was filled with a series of significant events that shaped both his personal and professional journey. Here are some of the key moments that had a profound impact on his life. Moving to London, in 1873, Vincent moved to London to work for an art dealership. During his time in London, he was exposed to the works of British artists such as John Constable and J.M.W. Turner, which had a lasting influence on his artistic style. Religious fervor and evangelism. After being dismissed from his job at the art dealership, Vincent became increasingly religious and pursued a career as a missionary. He worked as a lay preacher in various parts of Belgium and the Netherlands, but he was eventually dismissed due to his intense and unconventional approach to evangelism. The influence of Japanese art. In 1886, Vincent moved to Paris and was introduced to Japanese prints, which had a profound influence on his artistic style. He began incorporating elements of Japanese art, such as bold colors and simplified forms, into his own work. Meeting Paul Gauguin. In 1888, Vincent invited fellow artist Paul Gauguin to join him in Arles, France, with the hope of establishing an artists' colony. However, their relationship quickly deteriorated, leading to a violent altercation in which Vincent famously cut off part of his own ear. The asylum in St. Paul de Marseille. After the incident with Gauguin, Vincent checked himself into an asylum in St. Paul de Marseille in Saint-Rémy-de-Provence. During his time there, he produced some of his most famous works, including The Starry Night and Irises. Tragic death. In 1890, Vincent died by suicide at the age of 37, following years of mental illness, poverty, and social isolation. Despite the challenges he faced throughout his life, his artistic legacy continues to inspire and influence artists around the world. These key events in Vincent van Gogh's life illustrate the complex and tumultuous journey of one of the most celebrated artists in history. In the next episode, we'll explore his artistic style and the impact he had on the art world. Achievements. Vincent's life was marked by challenges and hardships, but he overcame them with an unwavering dedication to his art. Through his work, he revolutionized the art world and left a lasting impact on generations to come. Vincent's greatest achievement was undoubtedly his body of work. Over the course of his relatively short life, he produced nearly 900 paintings and more than 1,100 drawings and sketches. His work was characterized by bold colors, thick brushstrokes, and a raw emotional intensity that captivated audiences and influenced generations of artists. But how did Vincent accomplish such an incredible feat? His artistic journey was marked by both success and struggle, and his achievements were hard-won. Despite his natural talent, Vincent faced numerous obstacles on his path to artistic greatness. One of the keys to Vincent's success was his willingness to experiment with new techniques and styles. Throughout his career, he explored a wide range of artistic styles, from the dark and moody paintings of his early years to the bright and colorful works of his later period. He was also influenced by a wide range of artists, from Japanese printmakers to Impressionist painters, and he incorporated elements of their work into his own unique style. Vincent's achievements were also fueled by his unwavering dedication to his craft. He worked tirelessly to improve his skills and hone his artistic vision, often painting for hours on end despite physical and emotional exhaustion. His commitment to his art was so strong that he once wrote, "I put my heart and soul into my work, and have lost my mind in the process." Perhaps most importantly, Vincent's achievements were rooted in his deep love for the world around him. His paintings were not simply depictions of objects or landscapes, but rather expressions of his own emotional response to the world. He once wrote, "I want to touch people with my art. I want them to say, 'He feels deeply, he feels tenderly.'" In conclusion, Vincent van Gogh's achievements were the result of his talent, his willingness to experiment, his unwavering dedication to his craft, and his deep love for the world around him. His legacy continues to inspire and influence artists and art lovers around the world, and we are privileged to celebrate his life and work today. Challenges in your life. Vincent's life was marked by numerous obstacles, but he faced them with a fierce determination that continues to inspire people around the world today. Vincent's first major challenge was his struggle to find his place in the world. He was a restless and sensitive young man who struggled to fit in with the conventions of his time. His early attempts at various careers, including art dealership, teaching, and evangelism, were largely unsuccessful, leaving him feeling lost and adrift. Vincent's greatest challenge, however, was undoubtedly his struggle with mental illness. Throughout his life, he experienced intense emotional and psychological turmoil, which manifested in frequent episodes of depression, anxiety, and even hallucinations. Despite seeking treatment from numerous doctors and institutions, he was never able to find a cure for his illness. Despite these challenges, Vincent refused to give up on his passion for art. In fact, it was during some of his darkest moments that he produced some of his most iconic works, such as The Starry Night and Irises. He once wrote, "I am seeking, I am striving, I am in it with all my heart." This commitment to his art sustained him through the most difficult times of his life. Vincent's ability to overcome his challenges was rooted in his deep sense of purpose. He believed that his art had the power to touch people's hearts and transform their lives. He once wrote, "I hope to do something good one day with my art. I want to give back to the world what I have taken from it." This sense of purpose gave him the strength to keep going, even in the face of seemingly insurmountable obstacles. In conclusion, Vincent van Gogh's life was marked by numerous challenges, from his struggle to find his place in the world to his battle with mental illness. However, through his unwavering commitment to his art and his deep sense of purpose, he was able to overcome these challenges and create a lasting legacy that continues to inspire people around the world today. As we come to the end of this podcast, we reflect on the life and legacy of Vincent van Gogh, one of the most celebrated artists in history. Vincent's life was marked by challenges, struggles, and setbacks, but it was also characterized by a deep passion for his art and a commitment to his vision. Vincent's impact on the art world cannot be overstated. His bold use of color, unconventional compositions, and raw emotional intensity continue to captivate audiences and influence artists around the world today. His legacy is not only evident in the countless museums and galleries that showcase his work, but also in the countless artists who have been inspired by his vision and his spirit. Beyond his artistic achievements, Vincent's life is also a testament to the power of perseverance and dedication. Despite facing numerous obstacles, from the rejection of his peers to the challenges of mental illness, he refused to give up on his dreams. He once wrote, "What would life be if we had no courage to attempt anything?" Vincent's courage and determination continue to inspire people around the world to this day. But perhaps the most enduring aspect of Vincent's legacy is his deep sense of empathy and compassion for the world around him. His paintings were not simply depictions of objects or landscapes, but rather expressions of his own emotional response to the world. He once wrote, "I feel that there is nothing more truly artistic than to love people." Vincent's art was a reflection of his deep love for humanity and his desire to connect with others through his work. In closing, Vincent van Gogh's life was a remarkable journey marked by both triumphs and tragedies. Through his art, his courage, and his compassion, he left a lasting impact on the world and continues to inspire people to this day. We hope that this podcast has shed new light on his life and legacy, and that it has inspired you to discover more about this incredible artist and his work. Thank you for listening.